Welcome back to another episode of NAmen. We're here today under not great circumstances because a couple days ago, Riot announced what had been rumored for a while in that NACL is no longer going to be a requirement for LCS orgs, which is very concerning. Along with that, a few other changes came through, which are going to lead inexorably to a lot of people losing their jobs. The LCSPA has responded, and they are not happy about it. Players are not happy about it. And to be honest, we are not happy about it. So we're going to talk about it. We're going to see if there's an optimistic angle we can take here, talk about what things look like going forward, because this has happened and there's really no way around it. We can't go back. So yeah, that's the topic for today. Not the happiest thing, not the most fun, but that's what it is. I'm Arsh, the host for today, and we have Delfi.
Hi, I'm Delfi. And I'm really, 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 really mad about the NACL thing. I know I don't look mad right now, but I will absolutely go off because I'm really pissed about it. So other than that, I'm Delfi, Delfi.wave on Twitter. Currently, I'm going through an Inkshot Yone phase. I'm really, really sorry if you guys see any tweets about it.
or receive Discord messages about it, as all of us have.
Any Discord messages from Delphi about that. I don't know how I feel about that, actually.
All right, Maxi.
It's okay, Angie. You don't want to.
Hi, I'm Maxi, and after I think 2 months, I'm finally a month or two. I don't remember. I'm finally back. I've been so busy that I haven't been super updated. So I guess with this episode, I'll be learning more about the NACL situation. Because I kinda only read Arsh's TLDR and not anything else about it. You can also find me on Twitter at Gumayushi Sansu. DM me if you play Honkai Star Rail in the Asia server. Yeah.
That game has a problem.
Oh,
And last but not least,
Hello, my name is Numiii, Numii. I'm trying to take a positive angle on the NACL announcement. I know there's a lot of doomerism and a lot of realistic takes going around, but hopefully I can provide a positive angle. But yeah, I'm Numiii, doing great. MSI stuff's still going on, and LCS is coming back soon. I think we got 3 more weeks, so I'm excited for LCS to come back. So
yeah.
I've missed it a lot.
Today's topic was supposed to be about MSI, and then this happened. So, okay, let's jump right into it. So I want to get the dates right. If anyone has the exact dates that this stuff was announced, go ahead. But I think 2 days ago, no, yesterday. Yesterday, Riot made the announcement that entitled, ironically, "Our Commitment to the NACL," where basically they said challengers rosters are now optional for LCS orgs, something that, for the last few months has kind of been rumored that every org has been asking for. And that was voted on this week, and Riot decided to listen to the teams and remove the requirement to hold a challengers roster. So what are our thoughts on that, just off the cuff? What do we think, Delphi?
Well, okay. When I first read this, I was on my break at work, and every single time I go on my break at work, I go to Wendy's and I get a $5 biggie bag with a strawberry lemonade, and I eat at the restaurant and I scroll on Twitter. So imagine my surprise when I'm scrolling on Twitter and I see the Riot announcement, right? And I know some of my friends had asked to see any information, so I sent it to them, and then I read it myself, and I was like, what? Listen, I am eating my 4 chicken nuggets that are included in the $5 big bag. Okay.
All right, I'm visualizing it. Yeah, okay.
Let me explain what the $5
nuggets.
biggie bag is.
Yeah,
okay?
can you explain this? Because that adds to experience.
Yeah.
So you get 4 chicken nuggets, a small fry, a choice of 3 sandwiches. I got a junior bacon cheeseburger, and a small drink. Okay? I got a strawberry lemonade because Wendy's strawberry lemonade is really good. So I'm sipping my strawberry lemonade, eating my little chicken nuggets, and I look on, and I'm scrolling through my Twitter, and I'm like, wait, what is this? And then by this time, I'm 15 minutes through my break, right? And it's like, okay, whatever, right? And I'm scrolling, and I'm like, what the hell? And then I saw the first point, I think, was that Riot is removing the requirement for LCS teams to field an NACL team. I was like, oh, this is really, really bad. And then I saw some other stuff about the international tournaments and different structure, and I was like, okay, this could be cool. And then, so listen, you're not supposed to be on your phone while you're at work, right? But I'm 18. I work with a bunch of other high schoolers, or not other. I mean, I'm not in high school, but I work with a bunch of high schoolers. We are on our phones perma, right? Like we just go, like we walk to the back and then go on our phones, and like we don't do it very often. But I went back on my phone and I see the LCSPA's statement, which was like scathing compared to what I expected kind of the backlash to be. I expected the backlash to be like, yo, this really, really sucks. It feels like they're giving up on development. And then the LCSP statement came out and we were like, oh, this really, really fucking sucks. We're
that kind of
really giving up on
reframed the whole thing.
development. And these people are literally lying to the Players Association about what their plans are, right? And the LCSPA's post, in addition to the challenger or the leak that TSM was dissolving their challengers team, that really, really got me heated. I dropped a thread. I was so mad, and I'm still very mad, but I will that's kind of just the summary of what it was. There's some positives coming from it. Obviously, an NA international tier 2, like NA tier 2 international tournament is really cool, right? But also, LCS teams no longer have to field an NACL team, which is not cool in my opinion. Anyway, I will elaborate more later. But
I do want to point out, like, not only is international competition kind of cool, they're also utilizing the Chicago server for competition as well. So a little more positive angle, if you want to take it from this route, is you're gonna have more players who have like more accessibility, right? I believe, and please someone correct me if I'm wrong, like because the servers are in California, like that's why like a lot of the teams are like in California, right? Like
So yeah, basically it was previously a competitive advantage to bring your academy team and have them here, all living together, and it was kind of abnormal to have your whole academy like most teams would make the effort to get all their players here in LA for their academy rosters at all times, and that sort of like dissipated during COVID, obviously, and never sort of recovered to full. And then, you know, that change, the change with the LA to Chicago servers was one of a few changes which were like good. And it was a really clever announcement because what they said was, hey, this is gonna like super destroy NACL just off the bat, right? They like punch you in the face and then they're like, oh, but look at all these cool things we're doing to NACL. Right? Like, oh, we're like working on these international integrations with CBLOL and LLA. And it's like, oh, wow, we've been asking for that for a while, right? An international tier 2 system would be really nice. And they're like, okay, we're losing partner orgs in the NACL, but we're going to make it so that every org can be relegated in and out of the NACL. So now there's actual like real incentive to play in the OQs, right? The OQs are actually like a way bigger thing, way more important thing now. But the more you look at it and the more you look at the LCSPA's announcement, this is like, you know the saying, rearranging the deck chairs into Titanic?
I have never heard this saying.
Okay,
like,
there's a saying, which is like, you're rearranging the deck chairs on the Titanic, right? Like, oh, you're swapping things out, and it doesn't matter because the ship's sinking anyway. This is like upgrading the engine on the Titanic after you hit the iceberg, right? You did a super good change that if you had done it to the NACL before you stabbed it in the chest, this could have been really good, right? Like, that could have been really, really sick if they had properly done this. But they gave the NACL one split and then effectively have killed it in the eyes of experts, pro players, and other people in the scene, right?
I'm a little frustrated as a fan, right? Like, if you were going to make these changes and there were already rumors of this change anyways, then, like, why not give it the last split? Like, just give it until summer and then just make these changes in 2024. But if the interpretation is, like, because orgs want to save money, or, like, however that may be, like, I guess rip off the Band-Aid now and do it in summer. It's just
But
frustrating
the
for me as a fan
mid-split
because, like,
change to rip
yeah, it's just
people's
like,
jobs away from them in the middle of the
and that's
split.
and that's where, like, I'm a little frustrated, right? Like, if you're not gonna like, please provide support to, like, the staff and the players who may or may not have a job. Like, a lot of players right now are like, they don't know what's going on. Like, Dardoch made a tweet saying he's already looking for a team. Like Chime and Diamond talking about how, like, they were brought up from academy and, like, even contracts, and, like, Dokla even talking about, like, they're LCS players, and, like, even Chime, like, they're saying, like, they came up through academy, and, like, it's sad for them for the system not to exist anymore. So for me, it's just like, okay, so if you want to make this change, like, how are you going to support the staff and the players who may not have a job anymore?
Yeah.
And, like, that's frustrating for me, and that's where, like, I'm like very sad because it's like, I don't we go through this like thing like once a month. Like, I hate seeing people like lose their jobs or like learn something so
Yeah,
big
it
over
just keeps
something like
getting
this.
worse
And it's just like
too in
there's no
league.
infrastructure, like there's little infrastructure or little support for it, and it breaks my heart. It really does.
And like that's the main thing where it's like part of this is like, oh, like, oh, this is just a business decision, right? Like teams can't sustain their academy rosters. And it's like, yeah, but this is the result of years of bad financial decision making and years of bad future planning in esports across the board, right? And like, I don't want to like get too much into like nitty gritty of financials and stuff, but like, there's a reason that esports and especially league is suffering so much right now, and it's not because the economy is bad, right? There's a small speed bump, right? Essentially has thrown us into a huge pitfall. And the reason for that is because we, like, the biggest orgs operated not for sustainability, but for greed. That's just what it is, right? It's not about financial viability of academy now. It's about why was financial viability of academy never prioritized, or of NACL now, right? Why is Riot only just announcing that teams can get partner integrations and get Twitch sub revenue and broadcast revenue from the academy stream or from the NACL stream? Why is that only now a thing? Because previously they could operate under the inefficiency of, it's an academy. Oh, we're making boatloads of money. It's COVID. Everyone's stuck at home. Everyone's watching esports. We are rolling in it. So they never planned properly. They never made real decisions. And they never set themselves up to be like, hey, maybe we shouldn't spend $40 million on this compound. We saw Cubby's tweet, right? Like $40 million compound, 300K academy. Please help me budget. I don't know how to, my esports org is dying, right? Like, it just pisses me off, honestly. Like, this is just bad business. And to pass it off as, oh, it's hard times. It's like, it's only hard times because you got greedy and you did not plan for this. That's my view. Yeah, and VC dollars do factor into that, of course.
Yeah, VC money will last forever, right, guys? No need to prepare for when VCs eventually pull out. Smile.
Well, that's why VC, venture capitalist, right? And when you hear that, you always think, wow, venture capitalist, they must really be like making long-term investments. Definitely not a risky source of money whatsoever. It's the safest money you can get.
Smile. Of course, man. Of course.
They're paying us so much money. It's worth it.
I will give my opinion about the decision, the interesting decision. First of all, fuck TSM and fuck any single org that is going to fuck over their players and staff by taking away an almost guaranteed position, literally with a 24 hours notice.
Yep.
Fucking rug pulling. It's so disgusting. And Sorry. I'm so mad.
I was gonna add on to that, but you can go.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say I think 8 out of 10 orgs are gonna drop their challenges roster, so that's lots of people.
Okay, listen. Don't even like think like I know like messages. This is not aimed at you. Like we are not like I'm not like mad at you, but like it is not an urgent change for the orgs. The orgs were committed. If Riot said no, the orgs were committed to staying in the NACL, which means they was not urgent enough that they had to drop their NACL rosters. They're choosing to fuck over their employees because they found out, oh, we can get away with it, right? Because Riot literally just doesn't give a fuck. Like, they found out that they could get away with shit, and they're going to get away with shit. Because that's what orgs are. They're corporate entities that do not see their employees as actual people and only as commodities that are worth what money they can bring in. And I've talked about this before, I've talked about it again, and org only see their employees as commodities that are worth as much money as they can bring in. If they can't bring in money, well, fuck you guys. Sorry, you're not gonna be treated with the grace and decency that humans deserve, because you're not human to us. That's what orgs are. They're corporate entities at their very core. No matter how much the CEOs are like, no, we care, they will lay off their rosters, they will fire their employees without remorse because they don't care about you. Like, I feel like that's what people need to understand. They really just don't give a fuck. Like, they've been, like, a lot of orgs have been wanting to get rid of NACL for a while, which is why they all fucking voted for it. But
And some of them, among them would be some of the biggest, most beloved orgs, which people think really invest
Yep,
in NA talent
yep.
development.
We really care about NA talent. No fucking org cares, okay? Like, there's orgs that are willing to invest in things as long as they think they'll make them money in the future. And that is the only fucking reason why they will ever invest in anything.
Yeah, okay,
I
so
promise you,
from a certain
they-
perspective, right? From a certain perspective, what Delphi's saying, certain people will be like, oh, well, of course, this is capitalism, right? You don't invest in something unless it makes you money. But that's not what the point is, right? The point is that this was a commitment that was made, and this was a commitment that was revoked. It's an entirely different thing to make this change in the future,
Yeah.
right?
Listen,
If you, yeah, okay, go.
sorry. You can finish that.
If you announce this now and you say after summer split, we will not be requiring teams to hold an NACL roster, but we will be making all of these changes during summer split to try and convince them to stay. Because the other 4 changes that they made, the other 4 major things were all good, all potentially really, really good for
Yeah,
the NACL.
I like the Chicago server for sure. I really like the true relegation and like international competition. Like, people have been asking for this. Like, these are all really good changes. I just wish it happened earlier.
Exactly. So like the thing is, we didn't need academy teams, honestly, to be in LA. It's nice. It's nice for them to be playing together. But if teams seriously think it's hurting their overhead, they could have had them remote this whole time.
Yeah,
Seriously,
you
they
don't
could
have
have.
to fly players out. You don't have to give them housing. You don't have to like incur like housing, food, whatever, transportation costs. You don't have to do that. Like,
Just pay them
it-
a salary. The total cost of an academy team, if it is run remotely, right? If Riot had moved it to Chicago servers at the beginning of the year, let's say, and they incentivized teams to go remote, the total cost of an academy team could very easily be the cost of one LCS player's salary.
Yeah.
I'm completely serious. Like, you could
I don't
very
remem-
much do that.
I don't remember if Cubby said this on
Not like an
Raising NA,
average
or
LCS
I
player,
heard
but
this,
like, you know.
I don't know if Cubby said this on Raising NA or if I heard this somewhere else, but just like, I think one of the reasons why like they want like challenger teams or players to play together, it's because it's supposed to emulate the environment of LCS should they get promoted. Right? It's
Absolutely.
like, I can see that angle of just like there is benefit of having 5 players play in the same room, be in the same compound, the area. So like for like teamwork, communication, and to emulate the environment of coaching staff and like a competitive environment for LCS. So I do see that angle. But like, I mean, obviously,
if the alternative is dropping the team entirely, right? The negative externality of partner teams dropping their academy teams or challenger teams is so much bigger, because what people don't
Yeah.
understand is that the partner teams set the standard, set the salary standard. They set a goal for young potentially LCS players, for young NA talent to be like, okay, this is a league that while I may not be able to, live on this forever, I might not be able to be paid the NACL Academy minimum, and whatever, stay in LA. I can't maybe sustain myself on that income forever. This is a solid, maintainable place where I can be to push myself up into LCS while I get better. If that does not exist, if the salary in NACL isn't being footed by partner teams which receive a lot of money from Riot every year, and part of their commitment is to do that, then the non-partner teams will pay less. Delfi wrote a wonderful piece about Cincinnati Fear, and Delfi can talk to you exactly how much a top 4 team in the NACL got paid. And I'm telling you, it was not as much as the partner teams.
okay, I obviously I can't leak the exact amount. Just know that the majority of their monthly check went to rent. And there were 6 people living in one house. So that's all I can say publicly. But yeah, they were not getting paid a whole lot. Fear, I wrote about in my article, Fear paid them a small salary, but they could not get housing for them because the org was they just didn't have the financial means to do that. But they slayed. They slayed anyway. You should definitely read about them. They're really great. Smile.
That'll be in the description. If anyone wants to read it.
Messages did say something in our Twitch chat, which I kind of want to point out as well. They're saying like the whole goal of going to pro is to like to going to a pro house is being around teammates 24/7 and being able to become friends or at least communicate. So going remote would be a super turnoff. And like I kind of I do agree with that, right? Like if you're trying to go pro, like you want to be in like LA or you want to be in an environment to where like you can see your teammates, talk to your coaches, like have that environment. And like while like I think so, like Hubby is saying that teams might go remote right now, like there is like I mean we saw with Cincinnati Fear, right? There is like you can have a team like that like be in the house together. Obviously I don't know their situation, their financial stuff, and like they can still make great things. Like it just sucks because it's like you do have the caveat of like, yeah, you're in California, you have to pay a California minimum wage salary. Like it's very expensive to live here. I myself am from California trying to move to Los Angeles. I myself am 26 with like I have a full-time job and it's still very expensive to live in Los Angeles. Like I cannot even imagine telling an 18, 19-year-old to like move to LA for the first time, get out of their parents' home and like trying to sustain yourself here. Like
Yeah.
I have a full-time job and I've worked corporate and it still sucks.
So this
Like,
is where we
telling,
get to
someone
like
out of college, not even like finishing like getting out of high school, like out of high school, sorry. Like getting out of high school, not finishing high
barely
school,
out of high
like,
school.
telling them to go to pro. Like that is insane for me. And I'm trying to like live there. Like
That's where we get to like what is Riot's idea, right? Because this is a clear deprioritization of the NACL, right? The NACL said it themselves. Or not the NACL, the LCSPA said it themselves. I do want to read a couple of excerpts from the LCSPA statement because I think they're very good. The first thing was the one that I think people attached to a lot, where they said Europe has a thriving ERL system, and the LCK and LPL maintain robust challenger leagues and rosters. By comparison, North America now has a developmental product with no viewership, no institutional support, no paying jobs, and no future. Which is brutal, right? And that's pretty much what we've been discussing. But they do give a lot of suggestions, right? And they say that, like, they suggest 4 things, which, in their minds, would be viable for Riot to make make NACL a viable product without having to axe partnership within the NACL. What I think really sucks is that now the alternative for most people is not what Riot is saying and saying like, hey, the NACL is still a thing. You should be in the NACL. Because most people seem to think that CLOL and universities might have to be the next ground for League of Legends development, which is not a great thing. Can I talk about that? Yeah, and Delfi can explain a little bit more about why that's not great.
Okay. I have friends who play in CLOL, have friends who work in CLOL, have friends who are associated with programs. I myself am associated with a program. I will say right now, out of every single collegiate League of Legends program in the country, there is one that is even remotely possibly equipped to handle the kind of development that to pick up the slack for NACL. That's Maryville University.
And they're not exactly a academically competitive university either.
Leave them alone.
I mean, it's just true, right? Like if you want a school,
if you want a really good degree from a really good school, while also playing CLOL, you have no option.
Not even a really good degree, right? The idea of college athleticism in traditional sports is that you go to a good college, a decent college.
Yeah, even. You get it. Like, so what I was going to do most likely was I was going to swim at a slightly worse D1 school. I was going to swim at UPenn and get a really, really good degree from a really, really good school.
UPenn is an insane school.
If I went to like I don't know, UF or something. UF is a pretty good school and a pretty
University
good
of
swim program.
Florida and University of
University of
Pennsylvania, for
Florida.
those of you
Yeah.
who are not familiar.
Yeah. So-
those were not American.
UPenn is Ivy League. So basically, the thing with collegiate sports is like almost every good school has like at least a couple of somewhat decent athletic programs. But like when you look at the CELO options, like you're not getting the University of Florida. You're not getting the University of Georgia. You're not getting like even like kind of like quote unquote mid tier schools. You're not getting that. This feels horrible to say, but like some of these schools have a sub 50% graduation rate, okay? Like we can't be serious right now.
It's just
We
not
really
in the
can't.
spirit of what university athletics are supposed to be. And it's just not there yet, right? And there is a certain, I don't know if it's an optimist or like a economic viewpoint here, right? Which is that if the line goes up, if the LCS is still growing, if there's still interest within North America in becoming a pro player, there will be an equilibrium found where people will create a developmental league. It is entirely possible, though not plausible, that the NACL becomes 10 to 15 hyper competitive, very good rosters that are actually getting viewership and that are actually solid orgs. It's not likely, because the LCS is already arguably not profitable as a venture to be a part of, and it gets a lot more viewership than the NACL and gets a lot more sponsorship and support than the NACL. So I don't really see that happening. Now, you could argue that Valorant has a tier 2 scene that is popping off because you have orgs like DSG and M80 and MXM who have fans, right? But why are those orgs investing in Valorant tier 2? Because there is a chance that this year they get promoted into VCT, that they get to play against Sentinels, and they get to play against like the
Loud
best
and
orgs,
MMB.
Loud, MMB. The fact that you can join the tier 2 scene there and get promoted to tier 1 is a huge difference in the value proposition that their tier 2 scene offers. Not to mention that any random 5 people can boot up Valorant, play Premier, and if they're just the GOATs, if we've got the 5 fakers of Valorant queuing up together and playing Premier, they can make it directly to VCT. They can make it a tier 1 Valorant. There is no value proposition for the developmental leagues within North America. And while I'm not arguing against franchising or anything, that is the distinction that has to be drawn. And that is why the LCSPA brings up Valorant within their statement. Because at the end of the day, Riot is starting to take some learnings from Valorant's tier 2 scene and applying them to League. But the most important thing, which is promotion relegation from tier 1 to tier 2, which is the thing which Valorant's entire system is founded on, is not here. Which means that even if we try to take that stuff, it is not going to be as good within League. We are not going to see those gains. And we're going to have 3 fragmented systems: universities, LCS, and NACL, none of which care about each other and none of which need to do anything together. And that is a huge problem. Just to catch people up, I don't know. Maxi, I don't know if you
wait,
have,
Maxi, do you have a
yeah,
point?
Maxi, you have thoughts, I'm sure.
Okay, but it's a lot of information that has come to my end, so I'm still like processing all of it. Like especially since I'm slowly coming back after being so busy with school and everything. It's my main takeaway is how can they it's just frustrating to hear them always talk about developing NA talent but doing literally nothing to develop it at all. Like I would talk to a couple of friends of mine, like back here in Manila, about how I trust NA, hope you, but like you kind of compare how the systems that players have in like LCK and LPL, and and start comparing it to LCS and be like, what isn't LCS doing that they could like improve their system, where they can improve their talent. And I feel like I'm not very active. I'm not active in NACL, but I can really see how people are very passionate about it and how NACL is really like as a tier 2, it's very important as well. And just being fucked over like that, it's just
I mean, they're
people
like,
don't
it's not like
care.
NACL was dying. That's the thing, right? Like,
Yeah.
It was
we
literally
all,
it was actively gaining viewers. It had way more viewers this year than last year.
which is
Like,
Like,
which is the crazy thing, because this
also,
really tells you there's gonna be. By the way, I said 8 orgs would drop, their
that's
challengers rosters.
speculation.
That was not. That was. I didn't even get to finish just because Delphi was popping off. I was like, I don't want to clarify this. 8. I said I meant like up to 8. Right. I don't think. I think there will be some people who aren't as familiar with the NA scene, like some European people, thought like, oh, so every LCS org is going to drop their challengers roster. I don't think that's going to be the case. From what I'm hearing, that's not going to be the case. But so there will be some left. I don't think it will be 8. I think realistically it will be a majority.
I think it'll be around 5.
5 maybe.
7 would
I
drop
think 6.
here.
I think 6 because we've already heard one, and I think we know of a few more that haven't been confirmed or announced yet. Head of Players Association said 7 would drop. That's where I got the 8 number, I think. Because I like it could be up to 8, I think. Head of Players Association thinks that 7 will drop. I'm a little bit hoping that it would be a little bit less, but I could see it even being more. If 7 teams drop out of the NACL, that is 5 players on each team at least losing their jobs. That is support staff for each team losing their jobs. That is weekends notice. I know several people who either publicly or privately have talked about how scared they are because on Friday they were told you might have a job on Monday or not.
Okay. I want to give context for this because I have talked to NACL players that are on LCS affiliated teams. I'm not going to say who they are. So yesterday, 2 days ago, one of them asked me if I had heard anything. He's a player on an NACL or LCS affiliated NACL team, by the way. Because EV leaked. So a lot of the players, most of the players, I would say, learned about the decision when LCS EV leaked it.
Oh, a grand majority. There
Like,
were a
Very
lot of
large
people.
majority.
A lot of people who, when EV leaked that there was going to be a vote happening on that decision and that every org had voted for it, there were a lot of people, even in orgs and in very prominent positions within the community, who found out then that it was happening, especially
Yeah.
players. Players were not
So-
told about it at all.
Players didn't know anything about the decision. They didn't know about the results of the decision. So the decision was pushed. They didn't know that until EV leaked that. They didn't know anything about the decision until Riot released the announcement. And they didn't know like whether or not they would have like jobs up until like right now. The players who are most going to be affected know absolutely
Yep.
nothing.
As of recording, there are still, I'd say, about the whole NACL that is still in limbo. I think only one team has made a decision. So about 45 players are like,
Yep. So 45 players literally just their jobs that were guaranteed not even a week ago are just up in the air right now because their orgs just can't give a fuck. Like they just cannot even be fucked to treat them like people. Not hey, 2 weeks ago they were like, hey, this decision was made. Like we just want to let you know if you need to fly home after we take away your housing and your job, maybe you want to prepare. But no. They really just cannot be asked to let their players know before a fucking Pokemon account leaks it.
it is a very good Pokemon. Like Eevee is really versatile. So like you can go into like Vaporeon and Flareon.
Okay, Art. Okay, Art.
But like
Jolteon.
I'm a
Okay.
Glaceon girl myself.
Espeon, Umbreon.
I'm a Sylveon girl. But
I'm a Glaceon girl myself. I just want to say, like, if you're an organization, please treat your players like human beings. Like, please, hold on, Delphi, hold on. Please have a plan. I don't know what goes on behind the scenes. Like, please have a plan. I would hope that organizations or the staff, whoever it may be, like, these are 18 to 20-year-olds. what are they going to do?
Well,
How
there's
do they
some
know
older,
how to
but
like? You're pro, maybe older, yeah. But like, you're gonna leave them stranded in LA. Like, please just work with them, work with their families, treat them like humans. At the end of the day, like, they are humans, right?
So-
And this is why it's so
I-
scary
I-
for me to see so many like players talk about like how Academy or Challenger like brought them into the system, whether it be like you're still in tier 2
Yeah.
or you're in pro. Like, please, 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 I'm begging, just work with these players so they're not homeless. Like,
I just think it's really like it's really telling how many LCS and NACL players have come out publicly to announce this. I think personally that unions are very based, and I think we could take certain cues from the Writers Guild if our players were not 18 to 20-year-olds and they maybe had a little bit more of an emphasis on the value of a union. Maybe we could have used that in this situation.
Can I talk about a little something too?
Yeah.
So I don't know. So I think it's called the Esports Coaches Guild. They put out a statement condemning the decision as well. They said they stood with the LCSPA. I think one of their points made me so angry. Like I genuinely, okay, listen, I don't get super mad very often. I usually get sad more than anything, but the fact that they said people will lose their jobs, their health care, and their fucking visas immediately. By the way, the staff, the players will lose their work visas fucking immediately on a week's notice from a fucking Pokemon account.
And they
All right?
they almost certainly have no severance built into their contracts.
Very little or no severance.
There's no protections for these people.
And no, they're literally just 100% fucked. Like it's really, really disgusting that like these like people who have built their whole livelihoods around this league are just getting disgusting fucked. Like you can't even make your way around this. Like I know a lot of the people who are trying to find positive outlooks are thinking about like the business side of things, how they're gonna save more money, this, that, the other. But these are fucking like, I mean, Cubby mentioned it in our chat. Like people took out debt to be in the NACL. Like players legitimately fucked their credit at 18, took out debt just to try to pursue their dreams of being pro, and you fucking pull the rug out from under them, fuck them over for the rest of the year? Like, with no warning, it's the end of off season. Like, what the fuck? Like, it's genuinely the most disgusting behavior I have ever seen exhibited from like the orgs.
So this brings up like the freedom thing and like the end of off season thing that Delfi said is really important, because we can talk about the players, the people behind the scenes, sports staff for all these rosters, but at the end of the day, the majority of people losing their jobs are players, right? And if they had the bargaining power of knowing that they were gonna probably have their team switch during the actual off season, right? If this happened between 2023 and 2024, guess what? They could go to Europe. They could go to the ERLs. It's not unprecedented.
They had options. That's the thing. They had, if it happened, if they announced it now, said it was taking place next year, the players, it would really suck because like it's already shitty for NA development, but you wouldn't be fucking over an entire group of people that literally dropped everything to try to come play for you. Like that is just the most, like it genuinely, it made me so mad. I was walking out from work and my coworker asked if I was okay because I legitimately looked so pissed as I was walking to my car. I was like, I typed up a thread, but like, yeah, any org that does this to their employees with no fucking remorse whatsoever, you fucking disgust me. You're actually disgusting to me. Like, don't ever talk to me. You make me fucking sick.
Yeah, and I think so this brings up the thing which I wasn't sure if we would talk about, but I want to, and I'm hosting, so I get to choose.
Okay.
We lost Tenacity and Copy. this week, in the last couple weeks.
We're
And
talking
they
about
didn't
this?
they didn't die.
We did not
They
talk
didn't
about
die.
this earlier.
They did not die, just so we're
Thanks
clear.
for the clarification.
But it was announced, or not announced, it was leaked a couple weeks ago, or a week ago. Time is a flat circle for me right now. I'm in summer vacation. That Tenacity would no longer be the starting top laner for 100 Thieves in the summer, and that it would be someday. And the assumption of many people, including myself at first, was that this was not Tenacity's decision. And then I found out, almost immediately, after this leak happened, and after I checked into it, because even before the leak happened, I knew that this was happening, but I looked into it more, and what was announced today was that Tenacity left pro play of his own volition, and he's pursuing content creation because he does not believe in continuing to be a pro player, because he believes that he can make more money in a more stable fashion as a content creator. And Copy kind of had the same thing. LS talked about how Copy, and so Copy, if you don't know, was one of the most promising NACL talents that we have frankly ever seen. Copy was the best mid laner in the NACL, I think. Delphi can contest me on this because I'm not as closely watching.
I would say like M&S, but like if
M&S doesn't count. M&S doesn't count. Yeah. Outside of M&S, Copy was unreal. Every time I watched this guy's games in NACL, it looked like it genuinely like an LCS caliber player, easily LCS caliber player, just dropping down to NACL to smurf on people. The way you know this is that M&S came in, dominated LCS, and the only person with mid lane stats even close, even in the same universe as M&S, was Copy. No one is up there. And so between spring and summer, Copy has chosen to retire, and he is likely leaving League of Legends as a whole.
Yep.
And a big part of that is because there's no real way that he saw himself becoming a pro player. And he considered going to Europe. He said, and this was obviously from other people because he has not really made this announcement, but he said that he considered going to Europe because he knows that it's better. And Tenacity, in his interview with Travis announcing why he left pro play, said the same thing. Said that if you want to be a pro player and you are from North America, go to Europe. Which is devastatingly pathetic, honestly. It is
Okay.
so pathetic.
Because if you think about the implications of that, this is obviously is not what he meant. He meant like it's really, really hard to pursue an NA. But if you think about the implications of that, if you don't have like fucking $4,000 to just drop on an EU boot camp to try to get noticed in EU, oh, sorry, you can't go pro. Fuck. You know, like this.
I mean,
okay,
I think it's possible that like you could be really good on the NA ladder, right? I think that what genuinely might happen, right? Because let's be honest, this league is going to settle somewhere. We're not going to be going through tough times forever. As much as people will insist that the esports winter is actually just a true assessment of esports value, it's not. And math supports it. We will go through better times. And young kids will want to become LCS pros. Or will want to become League of Legends pros, more accurately. And a high school kid who hits, let's say, top 100 on the NA ladder might just reach out to an EU LFL team or an LDLC, LVP team, something like that. And they might just say, hey, this is my resume. Look at what rank I am. Let me join an ERL. Maybe they play the OQs. Maybe they play CLOL for a bit. But at the end of the day, if you join an ERL, your chance is of going to EU Masters. And if you're at EU Masters, if you win EU Masters,
eyes on you.
If you win EU Masters, you have more viewership on you than the fucking LCS. Straight up. If you play in the LFL, you have like some of the top viewership for regions in the world. You're like a top 10 viewed region in the world, probably.
Yeah.
Like, unreal how different it is. Like, why would you ever not make that decision to tell EU teams, look at me, I'm playing the OQs, I'm playing CLOL, let me join an ERL so I can play in the EU Masters. So I can play in an ERL where I will make enough money and have enough viewers and have fans. Right? Like, it's just, it feels so doomer. But, like, everything I look at is just indicating to me that NA LoL is in such a hole. Like, such an...
So, like,
Such an
So,
insane
like,
hole.
just to argue that point, right? Like, what would you suggest? Like, I'm just gonna take orgs and brands out of this for a bit, right? In teams, like, what would you suggest fans to like help with that then,
Fans to
right?
do?
If the structure is so broken, or like the structure is going to have holes for a bit before some
Yeah, no,
change can
okay.
happen,
I
like,
get
what would
what
you
you're saying. I get what you're
what would you
saying.
suggest?
I'm gonna speak directly to one fan, right? As like just to like make this clear. Let's say I'm speaking to a fan, all right? And let's say this fan's name is, I don't know, Jimmy, all right? And let's say Jimmy is Mr. Beast. Then Jimmy can save NA League of Legends, maybe, right? If this is Jimmy Beast, and that is the one fan I am speaking to, then you, Jimmy Beast, can save NA League of Legends. But unless that is you, or unless you are the son of Elon Musk, and he gave you a lot of money for some reason,
Like, I'm not, like, I know, and I'm just going to ramble for a bit, so please stop me. But like, I know it's a doomer, right? I'm so tired of esports winter. I'm so tired of people telling me league is dying. And obviously, if NACL is not required, I understand why everyone thinks that it's dead. Don't get me wrong. Right? I've had people like message me or comment on my tweet saying like, "Why are you being so positive about this? You don't understand the implication." Okay, when I made that tweet, I didn't understand how it would screw over players, right? I get it now. But what I'm trying to say is just like change is inevitable and like something needs to happen. I don't know if this is how it's going to be, and I don't know if that's even the way to do it. But like
NA,
this is the system. This is the system we have right now. So like what else can we do? We have to run with it.
I just thought of an idea. The NACL should become an ERL.
Well,
Rename it EMEAA, because it's not European Masters anymore. It's EMEA Masters. Just add another A in. Put that America.
God bless America.
Europe, Middle East, Africa, America. And just run the whole thing. Whatever. We'll fly them out for EMEA Masters.
Like, I'm not saying, like, don't be realistic, right? Like, I'm not. Like, this is the reality. Like, that's what I fully acknowledge that. What I am saying, though, is, like, what are we gonna do but move forward? It sucks.
Yeah,
I hate
it
saying that.
really-
I really do. But,
I
like,
I
what
just
else
don't
can we
think
do?
that
We
in
move
the current
forward.
circumstance there is anything that anyone not named the new I forgot his name. Okay. Riot, I was gonna make a reference to the fact that Riot just got a new CEO. The guy's Indian. I looked at his name, Dylan Jadeja, I think, something like that.
You want me to look this up as we're talking?
Unless that's you, unless you're that person, unless you're, I mean, honestly, even if you lead a single org, there's nothing you can do, because frankly, there's one org that is very powerful that led this effort in the first place to get partner
Well,
teams out of the
we will
NACL.
not, like,
I think it's public, but I don't want to say it in case it's
don't say
not
it.
public.
Arch, don't say it.
I do not want to say it because I don't know if it is public, but if it is public, you can find this information out yourself. Frankly, even if you were the owner of that org, there's nothing you could do to change this now. NA League is in a situation where if it gets out of this, it will be a function of the winds around us and where we are moving. Maybe C9 will sweep MSI and win. If
Yes,
C9
sir.
wins MSI and they do it by taking down JDG and Gen G and T1 and G2, and they do that all, and none of those teams, huh? Well, G2 would be on their way. G2 would be on their way because G2's gonna beat BLG. We already discussed this. We already discussed this. We already discussed this. We already talked about this. So okay, but let's even if C9 does that, I'm genuinely not convinced that this helps NA. I think C9 could win MSI and we would still be fucked as a region.
So are you saying like we're just not gonna be saved and we should all just be doomer?
No, I'm saying that we can't save ourselves. I'm saying that if the things get better, it is gonna happen because things change over time and slowly things improve. But even if right now C9 wins MSI and we get a bunch of new fans and all the fans are enthusiastic and happy and none of them post on Reddit, all of them delete their Reddit accounts, even if that happens, even if they're all the most positive, lovely, happy fans, Mr. Beast joins the league, for things to change, they need to happen incrementally, slowly, and over time. And Whether the
That's
league
like-
will survive that by the
hurts.
time those changes stack up is a question for God.
That hurt, right? Because it's just like, how can I move forward if I don't know the structure and system we're looking at? And like, how can I encourage myself and other people to like make change, right? Like, it hurts. It's going to hurt
Yeah.
short term, and I know it's going to be painful, but like,
That is
I
why
don't
people
like.
who
I kind of agree.
that's why
Like, I
people who
want these
don't
changes. I
normally
just don't know how quickly it would take, nor do I know like how long do we have to give it for stuff to happen. You're literally in like a catch-22.
Yeah, that's why people who don't normally doomer tweet about LCS or NACL or anything like that are doomer tweeting right now. That's why I
just,
doomer
like-
tweeted like a week ago and got like
It
way
is
more likes
so-
on it than I should have.
So gross,
People-
doomer tweeting. I
But
hate
that's
it.
like that's why a lot of people are doomer tweeting. That's why a lot of people, because to be honest, it's not the normal doomer tweeting of like I want to found
Okay,
Reddit
yeah,
interactions.
just
blah,
like,
blah, blah. Like
people
it
just need to
genuinely.
It's just people being like, oh shit, this thing I've invested my last X amount of years into, or for me, like the last year, right? It's like, oh, this is probably gonna be a non-existent ROI for me. Okay, that sucks. That really sucks, actually. Oh, I made a lot of friends in this scene. That sucks. Right? Like, it's not easy to call something doomer tweeting when it's just people going, I've invested so much time and energy and love into this thing, and it looks like it's not gonna.
discrediting that.
Yeah,
It's
I know.
just like,
I'm just
what
saying,
else-
like, that's why everyone is so sad right now. It's not because it's the Reddit narrative of League is dying. If only Riot nerfed Janna, we would finally see League of Legends grow. Right? That's not what's happening. Right? Like what it is a lot of people who are truly passionate about League and about LCS and about NACL who are looking at this and saying, "Fuck,
This sucks. Like I feel like it. Like I completely agree with Arsh. Like my tweet, my like whatever, however angry I was, it didn't come from a place of like I'm mad because I think Riot sucks. I'm mad because not only is this thing that I invested so much time and effort into, like it looks like it's in a horrible spot right now. But it was also like these people, my friends, are going to be fucked over by this decision. And
even
like,
your friends
orgs
not
are
in
just-
NACL. That's the beauty of it.
yeah.
This is the beauty of
like-
negative externality. Our friends
Okay, I tweeted
everywhere are
about this
gonna be
on
fucked by
Circle,
this.
but like I can say this without naming names. NACL players are fucking asking me about streaming tips, and that makes me want to fucking cry, man. Like these players
Go
who
to streamer
until a week
Delfino
ago
42.
who until a week ago were like securing their jobs at least till the end of the year. These people are asking me how to stream because they don't know if they're gonna have jobs anymore. Like, oh my god, it's making me so sad. People are asking content creators, how do I edit? How do I stream? How do I find a way to make money off the thing I love when the one thing that I had going for me is fucking gone? It's just so depressing and it makes me so angry. I can't. I'm so upset. I'm so upset.
Delphi
like
is-
genuinely.
Delphi is the most angry about this that I've seen Delphi about anything other than the time, as I say, your mom joke. Like, this is also for the record. I will be clipping the part where Delphi said, "I agree completely with what Arsh said,"
Shut the fuck up, man.
because that'll be a great soundboard effect.
Oh, that's
like-
gonna be your ringtone or something.
Bro,
Oh my
I'm gonna text Arsh and that stupid notification's gonna go off. Like,
God.
Yeah.
You get text
Next
from
time you're
Arsh, he
next time
doesn't
you're in
message
person, you can
me.
hear my ringtone.
yeah.
Hmm?
No, nothing. I was making a bad joke. I don't know. Like
Have
I'm
you
coming.
text
I'm
Arsh?
trying. I said it from the beginning. I'm trying to take it from like a slightly neutral angle in the sense of like change is inevitable. We needed something to change. I understand. Like, don't come at me being like I don't care about NACL. If you come at me with this angle, I will literally be like, look at my tweets over the last 3 months. Like, stop. I'm just trying
Change
to
is
say, like,
inevitable. Me, the
I'm
captain of
just-
the Titanic. We need some more change up in here. Let's
I'm
aim
just,
at that
like,
fucking
something-
iceberg, baby. Liven it up.
Something needs to happen, right? League of Legends like needs a change. I don't know if this is the change, but I'm going to smile and move forward because what else can I do? Right? I want to support my players. I want to support these teams. I want to see good competition, and I want to see a good structure. Are we going to get those? I don't know. Am I going to hope for those? I better fucking hope I do. Because what else am I
Yeah.
going to do?
Yep.
What else can we all do but watch? What
We
else
can-
can we
uh,
do
we
but
can
could
support?
pray.
literally only hope that the chips fall in a way that enables our league, the thing that we
talking
enjoy and
we
put
talking
so
like
much time
barbecue
in.
chips or
But like, we can only hope that the chips
Barbecue?
fall in a way that our league can continue to survive.
So like if you are, that's why I asked Arsh earlier, right? Like what can you do as a fan, right? Like as a fan, support your players, watch their streams, tell their stories. If you're a caster, I don't care if you're in CLoL or NACL or even LCS, tell these stories. If you are in production, if you're in broadcast, tell these
Even
stories.
as a
Do
fucking
not
fan,
let them
Yeah.
die.
and
even as a fan, you saw me write an entire article about these guys. Like, you
Yeah.
could do, like, dude, these guys are so chill. They're
I
so
have
open.
also
They're
done
so
that.
down to
It is
talk.
very fun.
They love to talk about their experiences, interviews, even just like having a little chat and telling your friends, like, oh, this guy's so chill. Like anything. Keep their stories alive. Keep the idea
By the way,
of like these
convincing
people alive. Like,
convincing 10 friends to watch the LCS is a percentage point increase in viewership. So
exactly.
so
And wait,
so
can I also
really
mention-
we could use your help as a fan. And also, you know, Numiii said if you're a production, if you're a fan, if you're a Riot, if you're an org member, if you're Mr. Beast, please help us. That
please
isn't-
help us. Please, please, please.
You are the one we are reaching out to. You are the chosen one. I'm Leia in fucking I'm Leia in A New Hope. Mr. Beast is the new hope. That is all we
Help
have
me, Mr.
now.
Beast, you're my only hope. Wait,
I-
I also wanted to mention how when you guys said you wanted to keep their stories alive and all that, like as
Keep these stories
NAmen,
alive.
or I don't
We're
know.
passing
Wait,
them on
sorry.
in our
They
ancestry,
died.
in our heritage. Ooh, when I was younger, I used to watch this League of Legends. Okay, this was a PC game. Okay, what's a PC?
I
It was
just
a
wanted
computer.
to mention the LCSProfiles website, okay?
Oh,
That's a
yeah,
really
plug
big
LCS
help.
profiles. Duck.
It's a really
Maxi, go. Plug
I hate
it.
you, Arsh. I hate you, Arsh. I just wanted to mention, like if you want, like, I lost my train of thought. Wait,
If
you
you
could
want
use,
to see these stories and you want to learn more about these players and see a way to like actually interact with the things you don't get to learn about them, LCSProfiles.com is a great way to learn stuff about players that is not necessarily the stuff you get to see on screen. And it's a great way to show your friends, be like, hey, look at this attractive player. Perhaps maybe you'd want to be a fan of them.
Or like, this guy really likes this really like random thing that we also like.
Hey, aren't you a weeb? Licorice likes
This guy has lots
Chihaya
of
Furu.
anime recommendations.
Okay.
like
if you're on
I
social,
will look at I'll look at one page right now. Let's check Soul. His favorite, his representative
Ask.
anime.
Oh, actually, never mind. This isn't working.
Gelato.
if you are on social media, whatever platform you may use, like have these conversations, right? I know I mentioned earlier like the doomer take, right? But like give constructive criticism when necessary, give feedback when necessary. And I think right now is a like give feedback, right? As we move into summer split for LCS, obviously none of us will know what NACL will look like at this time, but like give feedback to your orgs, right? Give feedback to teams and be like, I love like NACL production, keep doing it, or why are you not doing this, right? I think part of that also comes from being a fan is being communicative. What I've always loved about esports Twitter that I don't get about other fandoms, your voice is heard in
It really
some
is.
capacity. And while it may not be channeled in certain areas, and I believe organizations and teams have a right not to bend over to your will, which I think a lot of people think they want that to happen, your voice is heard.
Yeah.
Like,
And some orgs
be-
genuinely do listen.
some orgs genuinely do listen.
Certain
trust me.
orgs employ people to listen to the community and manage the community.
I'm putting that aside for a bit, but Be communicative. As Summer Split comes around, watch NACL, watch LCS, tell your friends about it, tell your stories about why you love Prince as a player, why you miss Copy in like NACL. Like, tell these narratives, these stories, support caster stories and narratives, support fandom stories and narratives, because if we want League of Legends to survive, right? If we're gonna go back to this narrative, where can you help as a fan if you don't work in any of these organizations? You work for a team? Literally, Delphi wrote a piece on Cincinnati Fear, who had an amazing NACL split. Those stories may not even be taken anywhere, if not for Path to LCS interviews. But Delphi, a fan, did this. And it's a pretty fucking good article. Or like piece. So like as a fan, right? I challenge you to look at Summer Split. Be open with your feedback, be open with your ideas. Some of them may not be heard, but like it's there, right? You're putting it in the void. It's there. People will look at it, people will listen, and like this is how like shit happens. LCS this year in Spring Split did a whole bunch of content stuff. Different things on broadcast. They asked their Discord to do a 40-minute survey. I've never seen like stuff like that.
Yeah,
Commenting on official broadcast.
There is stuff to where like things are getting better this year, right? And the LCS broadcast has gotten better. We've talked about this stuff before, and it's just hopefully, to be honest, like the straight up thing is like there is a positive trend, and you know, certain leadership has changed, which I'm not happy with, and it kind of sucks that like we saw people come in that were really good, and for whatever reason they're no longer leading in certain places. But at the end of the day, things are getting better. It's just a question of, will Riot kill the LCS first, or will the LCS save itself first? Because things are getting better. But
I personally think we can bounce back.
I also think that. Otherwise, I would not be here.
Bounce back.
But yeah, we are at our time. A bit of a, I guess, happier upswing end to a very depressing topic, very depressing episode. Feels like all we're getting is punch to the face after punch to the face. CLG, this, nasty copy.
I'm still warning.
Canaries in coal mines, riding on the wall, and deck chairs in the Titanic. It seems like we're just getting bad news. But C9 and GG play tomorrow. That'll be a banger. EU does not look very good. So they feel like they're in the same boat as us, which is pretty hype. And yeah, I think eventually we will get good news. I hope. Just any good news. Some good news would be nice. A crumb would be very nice. That's all. You know where you can find me. At Arsh13 on Twitter. Doomer posting every day. Delfi?
Make a happy tweet.
Oh,
Make a happy tweet.
If you ever, I'm Delfino, Delphi.wave on Twitter. If you want to find me literally permanently being angry about corporate greed and disgusting treatment of employees and players, I'm always here. And also, I want to say, if any NACL players or staff are watching this and you guys were unexpectedly laid off by your shitty little org, please just DM us. We will retweet your LFT post. We're gonna
we'll also bring you on the show. This is if you're in the NACL, you want to talk about this. If you want to do content,
we're so down to have you come on. And just reach out, please. We can't do the most, but we're just gonna try to get as many eyes.
Hear me out. I have 2,000 followers on Twitter, so
bro,
I can do a little something.
We will try to get as many eyes on your post and on your situation as possible.
And I think a lot of really big apparently an ad popped up. That's really funny. Twitch. Yeah, I think we have ads on our Twitch account, by the way. By the way, check our Twitch account. We have it down there as well. We've been streaming more. I want to do more stuff. I want to do more shows. We did a show last week. We're going to keep doing more. So yeah, check out the Twitch. And then Maxi?
We can find me at Gumayushi Sonsu on Twitter. I've been tweeting a lot about Batman comics and Honkai Star Rail and less about League of Legends unless I'm watching a game. So be prepared if you follow me.
And then Numiii.
Hello, I'm Numiii. I'm trying my best to stay positive, and I'm hoping that y'all, we still love this product, right? The reason why we're all here is because we're still committed to League. We still want to
Whoa,
see
speak for
pro.
yourself.
Well, I still want to see pro and dev league, dev meaning NACL, open qualifiers, and CLOL have some capacity in some way, right? So I will be here screaming in the void and hopefully doing my best to change that on whatever platforms perspectives I work for or work with, right? NAmen, any of the jobs I hold, like I'm still committed to League and I'm going to do my best. So please provide open feedback to your orgs, to your teams that you love. We're gonna need a lot of help in the next year. And I say we as in League of Legends needs help. So
League of Legends. We
your best.
as a League of
We.
Legend.
As
Us-
one
as
of
the
the
game itself,
legends of
I
League,
just-
you know?
As a
legend.
legend and in a league right now. We need your help.
feedback, be a fan, support your players, support the teams you love. It's gonna be rough and we're still gonna enjoy this product. You will still hear me yelling at LCS Summer Split because that's what I do and that's what I love.
If it continues to be in person.
It will continue. Do not test me.
Which might be net. I didn't get to give a shout out, by the way. Shout out to Paul Wixie's dad. He's in chat right now. Shout out to everyone who's in chat right now. Very big.
Shout out to every supportive esports parent. I love all of y'all. Y'all are the
Yes.
best.
Yes.
Shout out to every supportive esports fan in general. I'm gonna one up Delphi.
I
Okay,
love
we've gone like 10 minutes over time. Bye bye everyone. See you next episode. Hopefully we'll have good news for you. If not, we will do another episode of bad news. Thank you. See you guys next time.
Bye, guys.